Mhm. Save, go live. Am I live? I think I'm live. Yes, God. Okay, I'm live here in Instagram land, and I'm live on YouTube. Yes, God. All right. Excuse me. I hope everyone is having a beautiful Thursday. I wanted to jump on really quick and talk about why you are stuck. And there's probably many reasons, but I want to talk about, I like to get down to the root, like the meat and potatoes. And one of the reasons is focus. We are so distracted. Our focus is typically being scattered across. The primary culprit is the phone, honestly, for me anyway, and my close people that I communicate with. We're honest with ourselves and we can admit that. The other part of being stuck is an unwillingness to take accountability. And accountability is so important because it enables you to change. If you are unable to actually look at yourself and identify areas of opportunity, nothing's going to change. So the dictionary says that accountability means responsibility, liability, answerability, reporting, and obedience. So in my coaching, that's one of the first things we do is we look at my framework and we look at the different ways that we can start to take accountability for ourselves. And it does take mindfulness, and it does take courage, and it takes humility. It takes observation and really being able to look at ourselves objectively and identify the areas where there is room to grow. And so, one of the major things that I have done and I help clients to do is to pay attention to your self talk and your inner dialogue. A lot of times we get triggered by things because we have trauma around it, and we have to be aware of when that's happening. A lot of times we procrastinate because we have subconscious programs running to self sabotage ourselves. Um, and then accountability is really about asking yourself some questions like, what parts of myself do I want to change? What parts of my perspective could use a shift? Which personality traits of mine have negative impact on my relationships or my opportunities? What complaints have I received from others consistently? These are really easy places to start and start to identify, you know what? If I own that, then I can change it. If we don't take ownership of things, we can't change it. If we blame Mary, Sarah, Harry, and whoever else, that means that they are in control of us. So, in order to really take accountability, we have to take ownership of all of our behavior, of who we are. We can't blame it on circumstance. We can't blame it on childhood. We can't blame it on this person is doing that to me or this person didn't do that. All right. Another question that you can ask to start to get clear about where you are right now and where your areas of opportunity are things like, how am I a victim of my current circumstance and perspective? Okay, what is my current self concept? What do I think of myself, honestly? Everybody puts out this brave face to the world and, I'm great and I'm amazing and do. But do you really, really believe that inside? Everybody has insecurities. What is the narrative that you're telling yourself internally? Because that is showing up in the decisions and the behaviors that you're exhibiting on a consistent basis. What silent beliefs led me to choose my current state? And really, again, just being able to zoom out. We don't have to, all of our thoughts don't have to be concrete. They don't have to, they're usually not concrete. They're not 100% fact. So being able to zoom out, like a camera lens, it's the difference of walking in the forest and then being a drone over the forest. Those are two different perspectives. You're going to have two different, totally different experiences. And, it's really, really, really crucial. If you want to transform in any type of way, if you're not happy with your life in any type of way, you have to start with you. And you have to identify how is it that you are contributing to this current state that you're in. All right. And this does take courage, because if you're leading with your ego, if you're leading with, you know what I'm saying, all of this, I'm so this and I'm so that, and that's just my personality, and that's not going to change. That's just who I am. You're going to stay stuck. So anyways, I wanted to come on here quick. One of the things that I personally am working on is not being so attached to my phone. I have been taking the phone and putting it in a different room when I am focusing and when I'm working, because even if number one, I keep my phone on silent, usually during the day, but I notice myself picking it up still, picking it up, picking it up, picking it up, picking it up, checking, even though it's on silent, which is defeating the whole purpose. So I have gone ahead and physically removed my phone from me so that I can get back in the mode of not being so attached to my phone. So I don't know if there's any ways that you can identify that may be helpful for you to look at, hey, you know what, maybe I could do this differently. And it's usually little slight adjustments. Typically the things that have the most impact are the little things. If you've heard of the 80-20 rule, it's called Pareto's principles. It's the concept that 80% of our results come from 20% of the things that are inputs. So 80% output is 20%, comes from 20% input. And vice versa, if we are spending 80% of our time, whatever we're spending the majority of our time on, typically we're only getting 20% back. So it's really important to kind of use that framework to look at what's the return on this? What is the return on my energy? Is this a revenue generating task? Is this a high impact task? What is going to be the return if I spend the majority of my time doing this versus the majority of my time doing that? Yes, God. So anyways, I hope everyone's having a beautiful day. I will check in with you soon. And this Sunday is the first of the month. We are going to be doing a new moon clarity manifestation session. So this is where I'm going to guide folks through my framework that I use to get clear about who it is that I want to be, because that's always, always, always changing. And what are my goals, and how do I become the version of myself that already has those things? Because again, it comes down to your self-concept. How do I view myself? What is my identity inside of myself? That is going to determine what my reality looks like externally. Okay. All right, y'all. If you're interested in that, please go ahead and register for it in my bio, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.